What's going on, guys? My name's Corrupt, and today I have for you a Town Hall 10 Queen Charge Mass Baby Dragon attack strategy guide. This guide is going to teach you everything that you guys need to know about this attack strategy before you start using it. Now, this strategy you guys may have heard from other content I have made in the past, as well as from other content creators such as Corey and CarbonFin. But this attack can still be done and is actually now much more viable with the Stone Slammer and the Electro Dragon within the Stone Slammer, or even Loons for that matter. Even you can use this with Wall Breakers, Earthquake, or even Jump, or a combination of any of them, mainly Wall Breakers and Jump, and usually that's going to be a combination of one. So that's something to keep in mind when you guys are using this. But not only that, this strategy can be used on different base designs no matter the air defense placement. I've seen now where air defenses are a bit more spaced out and they can still be queen charge. Now just remember that air defenses on corners may be troubling, so this may not be a good strategy in order to use on those type of bases. But if you see air defenses kind of like almost on one side, near each other, or in an area where you can queen charge effectively and at least get 2 or 3 of them, then that is something to keep in mind when you guys are using this attack. Now, I did say you're using an Electro Dragon within the Stone Slammer, and yeah, you heard me right. I used to see Loons or something else for the back end, but this time I'm seeing a lot of Electro Dragons, which is really interesting. And what this means is that the Electro Dragons offer this higher DPS going into the base to take out value. That is really interesting, since a lot of strategies that don't necessarily need the Electro Dragon are bringing the Electro Dragon within the Stone Slammer. So the Electro Dragon really offers great value for a cleanup, or as long as you're starting to go through the base. It just offers that chain value that really makes it really deadly for different attacks. Even under a rage, it can really be strong. So if you have some leftover rage spells, then that's something to consider when you guys are using this attack. Now, you are usually bringing a ton of baby dragons, sometimes even 13 baby dragons. Now, the main reason why you're bringing baby dragons is to act as a funnel troop and cleanup. So usually what you want to do is you want to start off your queen walk, well, mainly it's your queen charge, with a queen walk before your walk turns into a charge. You want to make sure that you funnel your queen into the base with some baby dragons and also the king. Just remember that you also have to funnel your king in, because you don't want the king going near the queen, taking damage, and then the healers moving on to the king. You don't want that to happen, so instead, you want to make sure that you bring wizards, or even use a baby dragon or two, to try and funnel him just enough so that then he doesn't move with the queen. You want the queen to go by herself as she enters into the base. Now again, this is where you can use a plethora of different entry point options, including Earthquake, Jump, or Wall Breakers. So it's something to keep in mind when you guys are using this. And also another good thing to keep in mind as well is dealing with the CC and the queen. With this attack strategy, it's a good idea that you should actually deal with them. So it's a good idea to start bringing that. Now, if you do see a Lava Hound, it may be a good idea to bring a minion. The minion will help clean up some lava pups that do hit your healers. This will be able to protect your healers for long enough so that then they can continue to heal up the queen, even if the queen pops her ability. So something to keep in mind when you guys are using this. Now, this strategy, again, as I've said before, does really well on bases that have air defenses on one side of the base, or even pretty close together, because then all you have to do is just queen charge and actually, take those out, and then you can just use the baby dragons all on the sides of Splash. It's really simple to get it through the base. And usually here, even if you deal with, the air defenses all being spread out, it's completely fine, because most of the time there isn't a 2-tile or 3-tile gap in between the air defenses. Usually they're either going to be touching or they're going to be right next to another building that can be chained by the Electro Dragon. So something to keep in mind when you guys are using this attack. So as you're kind of going through the base, you're going to just spread out your baby dragons. You want the baby dragons themselves to get as much value as possible. Main reason here is that you want to have their tantrum ability available so that then they have a quicker time getting through buildings, since they do have a rage effect. So having them spread out is a good idea. Another thing that I forgot to mention here is bringing a clone spell. Now, no, you're not using the clone spell with the baby dragons, but you are using it with loons. Now, usually you're going to bring loons in the Stone Slammer and then cloning them to have more loons and try and get more value. Again, that's up to you. You can be really creative, but again, it's really up to you on exactly how you want to go ahead and do your attack. Do you want to bring an Electro Dragon to get more DPS? Or do you want to bring some loons to not just act as a tank, but start going into the base and actually destroying some defenses on the back end while the Queen Charge is still alive? So that's something to keep in mind. Remember to use rage spells over the Queen. Try to keep that Queen alive as much as possible. This strategy is literally just a Queen Charge. You've got to make sure that the Queen stays alive as she goes through. One of the things that you will not be able to stop is SAMs, Seeking Air Mines. So you really want to make sure that you kind of take a look at the base, and if it's a scout, if it was already scouted or already hit for a 2-star, then you want to take a look at it and say, were there any Seeking Air Mines near that I can use a loon to absorb that Seeking Air Mine and actually protect my healers? So that's something to really keep in mind when you guys do this. Another thing is, when you're on the back end of the base, you could bring in some loons to, one, tank for the baby dragons, but also get rid of some of the defenses, so that then the Stone Slammer has some easy pathing going into the core of the base if it does make it there. Usually it will be able to make it. It's tanky enough to reach there and also basically one-shot a lot of different structures. And then you want to try and use any of your leftover rage spells over the Electro Dragon as it goes through, so that then it can start chaining on different defenses and take them out. So something to keep in mind when you guys do this. And then also trying to make sure that you can really just use your baby dragons whenever. If you're slowly running out of baby dragons and a good chunk of the base has been hit, you can just swag them or even actually just start sending them in. So usually that's something to keep in mind when you guys are doing this attack. The Electro Dragon is just insanely strong, and I highly recommend doing it. Now, I did mention Earthquake. Now, Earthquake is a really good option to enter in with the base, mainly because it opens 10 tiles. So using it is not a bad option, and honestly, I would prefer it over Jump if you are not very confident that your Queen Walk or your Queen Charge will actually enter into the base with wall breakers or even a Jump. Earthquake is not a bad option, and that's something to keep in mind. Usually this strategy works really well on multi-infernos, but can even work on multi and single inferno bases. So it's something to keep in mind when you guys use this. And then the other thing is, really, you're using that Stone Slammer to get as much value as you can, using the baby dragons to clear out some buildings from the outside, also set the funnel for the Queen, and let that Queen Charge go in and get as much value as possible, including the Queen, CC, and air defenses, as much as she can get. And then using the Stone Slammer whenever it feels necessary, that is when you start to use your back end. Usually you're going to wait just a little bit so that then the Queen can actually get some sort of value going into the base, so that then realistically she is going to be able to wreck through the rest of the base. And making sure that you protect that Queen Charge is really critical for this attack, because without it, it's basically going to become rubble. So hopefully I didn't miss anything with this attack, but I talked about everything that you guys should know. So definitely leave a like and comment down below if you guys want to see another video like this for maybe even possibly Town Hall 11 or even Town Hall 12. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see even more of my content like this. Also, If you guys want to go ahead, feel free to subscribe to the channel and also turn on the notification bells so you guys don't miss an upload of any of this content that I have for you guys. Also, if you want to go ahead and follow me on Twitter, the link to it is going to be in the description below. And why not join my community Discord server or the XHumanity family Discord server? The links to them are in the description below. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.